How's it going, everybody? Ni hao. Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto. Today, we will be discussing one of the most interesting cryptocurrencies out there to date, Cardano. And as you know, I lukewarmly refer to Cardano as an altcoin. I'm more in the class of referring to Cardano as a Bitcoin competitor when looking at this on a long enough timeline. I think that it's pretty obvious when we look at Cardano, and we look at what's happening right now, and of course taking into consideration the academic foundation that they've been building for themselves, and a whole variety of different aspects to the project, which really leads us. It's a very interesting project you can't ignore, and of course today we're looking at a $7,000 evaluation on Bitcoin and dropping. Of course, we've got Bitcoin, pretty much just hanging on to that $7,200 point. And I think that ultimately this is an interesting time to just put things in context, because I've been seeing a lot of comments out there from people who are, sort of the doom and gloom mindset. And I think that it's always important to talk about how the cryptocurrencies are on sale right now. I mean, 3 cents for a Cardano. I mean, that's pretty miraculous sale if you ask me, and it's sort of funny because there's always going to be people out there who buy at the all-time highs, but very rarely we see people who actually do their research and are able to get into the space when it's actually affordable, when you have better margins. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with any of these different things, but still, at the same time, it is interesting to see. So Google's YouTube goes to war with Bitcoin and crypto. YouTube calls crypto purge a mistake, but many videos still missing. I mean, I didn't see any videos missing off of my channel. YouTube erroneously purges crypto education videos from its video sharing platform this week, but claims to have reinstated them, according to a spokesperson. Content creator, however, are telling a different story. Not a great move from Google. I mean, I wanted to bring this up more towards the beginning of the video so we can dedicate the next half of it more or less to talking about Cardano. I wanted to talk about the Cardano white paper and so forth. But I think that this is sort of could be Google kind of shooting itself in the foot in a larger sense. I mean, if they alienate themselves, we've seen this happen before as well with the the ad ban on cryptocurrency related advertisements and so forth in the wake of a lot of the controversy that we were seeing happening in the the later half of 2017, coming off of seeing Bitcoin with its $20,000 evaluation and a lot of these different things that we've been seeing. So I mean, it will be interesting, but anyway, I mean, that's just something that I wanted to touch lightly upon. However, I mean, just in the overall context, side note, they've been asking Coinbase for listing answers on Cardano for a while now and still waiting. I definitely feel that, this gentleman's longing face. I know many of us had wanted to see, Cardano on Coinbase, already. But also at the same time, I mean, I think that it does sort of, it is an interesting thing, that it's not. And I think it makes it, because once the floodgates are open, then Cardano's on, Coinbase, it's going to be all the noobs getting it. So I mean, right now it's pretty much just a chance. I like how it's still sort of underground. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Cardano in Africa and what we would call quote unquote more developing parts of the world. That whole red tape conversation, the fact that in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, there's this red tape around finance, which we don't actually see, that red tape, and this could actually be in Africa one of those really huge, one of the most important things that we could actually be seeing happening in this next decade is going to be countries that are able to basically gear up and get right with the next paradigm, who are going to be leading seeing a lot of the different aspects of what we see happening, involving the whole overall the next generation of the internet. And I think 2020 could be Cardano's year. I think that is an interesting tweet as well. And I mean, it is reasonable to think about a $3 Cardano that we could be witnessing happening. Of course, that would be very interesting to see overall. And it's also and the reason I bring up this YouTube article is because I also want to talk about Tron. And I'll be making a more dedicated video towards this in the future. But I mean, it is interesting to see how a lot of these different projects that are pretty much aiming down their sites to basically replace YouTube and all these different things. And it's interesting to see just how YouTube's been doing everything in their power to basically relegate themselves to the back seat of history, especially as we've been seeing a lot of controversy constantly revolving around the platform. I know many of you are not happy with the decisions that YouTube has made, being more of sort of like a Jimmy Kimmel catering platform, to say the least. Going more mainstream, sort of just trying to be cable 2.0, which is disappointing. I think all of us want to see YouTube going more in the way, making decisions to be more like it was in, say, 2007, even 2012. And a lot less like we've been seeing it acting in the past. But I suppose that's not the way that things go. Things have to get worse before they get better, and that's ultimately going to be a lesson that we're going to be seeing learned. It's a hard lesson to learn, but I mean, it's one that will pretty much be mutually arising mutually with what we're seeing happening with the cryptocurrency. So talking about Cardano's white paper, so Cardano is a project that began in 2015 as an effort, blah blah blah. In the spirit of many open source projects, Cardano did not begin with a comprehensive roadmap or even an authoritative white paper. Rather, it embraced a collection of design principles, engineering best practices, and avenues for exploration. These include the following: separation of accounting and computation into different layers, implementation of core components, and high modular functioning code. Along the list, I would definitely recommend you guys go onto the Cardano site here and definitely go and give some of this stuff a read. Very interesting. And of course, when we think about Cardano in the overall context of where it currently is, it will be interesting to see just where we see things going. Ethereum price to hit $10,000 in the next bull run, crypto trader claims. I mean, that would be pretty interesting, but hell, I mean, it is sort of a pipe dream. The community is currently very surprised as YouTube has without warning blocked or deleted videos dealing with cryptocurrency. So that is interesting. I mean, it also is interesting to see how the different avenues of information get tactfully blocked at various different junctures. But Cardano's Charles Hoskinson responds and reacts to YouTube clampdown on crypto contents. This is also an interesting one, just to sort of get an idea. I mean, because I've given Hoskinson some credit in the past, but I mean, let's see what he has to say. I've reviewed this article before, but I wanted to read it for you guys. The festive period suddenly turned to a moment of commotion in the cryptocurrency space after Google-owned content sharing website YouTube started clamping down on numerous video content related to cryptocurrency. This has really caused unrest within the crypto community as the works of many years of crypto YouTubers went down the drain without a short interval. This has also prompted a reaction from the Cardano CEO, Charles Hoskinson, seeing the unfavorable situation as an indication that cryptocurrency and blockchain will neither fail nor cease to exist. And I think that it sort of goes back to that old vestige. First they laugh at you, then they try to take you down, and then eventually they join you. And I think right now we're in sort of that phase where they're doing everything in their power to sort of try to halt a lot of these different things. But I mean, that's not necessarily pointed directly at YouTube or this particular piece of instance of news right now. It's more or less a larger context of what we've been seeing happening with the established establishment. It's really one that's difficult to ignore. I wouldn't think anybody out there would fault me for saying such a thing. But the trend of occasional action makes it look like the largest video sharing platform, YouTube, decided to unleash its force on crypto content creators, one after another. Reacts out of the clampdown. The unsolicited action displayed by YouTube has been greeted with lots of reactions since the effect of the action started becoming obvious. Many of the affected are already, perturbed, not knowing what to do or fix, since YouTube did not actually spell the wrongdoing. The impact of the action on the YouTube video content creator who doubted as the founder and CEO. It is interesting. His tweet there, and this is why crypto isn't going to fail. Absolute power and centralization always turns into this. Just some food for thought there. Overall, I think that this was a good piece of content here. I got to voice on a lot of different concerns that I usually don't actually make videos related to. But all that being said, make sure that you guys subscribe, comment down below, letting us know what you think. See you guys next video. Have a good one.